Hey guys, welcome back to my house under construction where I just got this gorgeous garage door installed. Now today's video is about garage doors, but we're not talking about the normal things that people talk about. Colors, size, openers. I do have this cool side mount opener, but no, we're gonna get a little nerdier today. We're gonna talk about how strong your garage door is. And in fact, believe it or not, your garage door can have a wind load rating. That basically means how strong it is against the wind blowing or even sucking that garage door out of your house. Today's build show is sponsored by DASMO. That's the Garage Door Industry Association. Let's get going. All right, guys, we're talking garage strength and how strong that garage door is. The reason why this is important is because when a wind event happens, a hurricane blows through, like Hurricane Andrew that had so much damage years ago, or even a strong wind, when that garage door gets breached on a house, really bad things happen. For instance, if this garage of mine got breached, it'd be really easy for my roof to pop off, for that wind to breach the rest of the house. And once the roof goes, the wind, the rain, massive damage happens to the house. So if we can have a garage door that's strong enough to withstand that wind and those big events, that means that we're gonna have a better chance of surviving our entire house, not just our garage area. Okay, so let's get into this. The first thing that you wanna think about, number one, is my garage door rated? Now there's gonna be a sticker if it's rated somewhere in your garage. Here's mine right here. It's the sticker on the side here, and the sticker is gonna say PSF rating, or static pressure ratings, on this side of the sticker. And then there's gonna be a check mark where your door is rated depending on the scale right here. Now if your door doesn't have that rating, or you're building or remodeling new or replacing your garage door, here's how you can figure out what you need. First off, you want to go to the atcouncil.org website. This is basically an engineering website that's going to tell you what are the wind speeds that the engineer needs to design for in your area. So if I go to that website and type in Austin, Texas, where I am, it's going to show me that my wind speeds are a little over 100 miles an hour in this area. Then I'm going to take that information and I'm going to take it over to the DASMO website. Remember, that's the Garage Door Industry Association. And on their website, they're going to have a translator that says, okay, what's your wind speed that you need to rate for? And how do we translate that to PSF? That's pressure per square foot. And in my instance, for my area at that wind speed, I've got basically a +10 and a -11 number. You're going to see a plus and a minus because what happens in a wind event is sometimes the wind's blowing against your house and your garage door is trying to cave in, and other times the tail end of the wind is trying to actually suck your garage door off the face of your house, and that's the minus number. So what I was looking for my house was a +10 and a -11. Now let's go back to my sticker one more time and check this out. It looks like my garage door is actually rated as a +20 and a -22 PSF, which means that I'm stronger than what I needed for this area, and that's a good thing. I like having a little bit of safety. You always want to upgrade to the one that's higher than your number. You don't want a lower number. Now again, when I bought this door though, I actually had to talk to my local distributor, my local garage door company, and say, when I ordered this door, this black 16-foot wide door with this style opener, I had to tell them, look, I'm also looking for a door that's going to have this PSF rating. And then when I bought the door, it came installed, and it's going to have several things, several modifications, shall we say, that are going to make that door stronger than your average or your standard door. Now, do you have to do this? In some places, yes, it's code, and your inspector is actually going to ask for this. If you're building a house in Miami-Dade County, Florida, I'd be willing to bet that that inspector on every house is looking at that sticker and making sure the builder has installed a door that meets those ratings. But that's not being enforced everywhere in the country. As codes change though, and the new cycle of adoptions for the International Residential Code happens, you're going to see more and more inspectors are going to be asking for that. So get ahead of the game as a builder and make sure you understand what you need and talk to your local company about making sure you get a door that meets that rating. Now let's talk about how they meet that rating. You're going to notice on my door I've got these big struts on the back of the door. There's 3 of them right in the center of each panel. These struts, which happens to be this size right here, are adding additional stiffness to the door. Now there's all kinds of different strut options. Here's a smaller strut. Let's say if I just had a single car door, this smaller strut may have made the PSF rating that I needed. Or if I needed a higher PSF rating, there's a bunch of other strut options, even beefier than what I've got here. But when the wind blows against the door, it's putting that pressure on the struts, and that strut's kind of like a little I-beam, right? It's forcing that pressure to the sides, and then that pressure is on my rollers, and the rollers are then exerting the pressure onto the tracks. Now remember, your garage door is basically only fastened at the two sides. It's not fastened at the top or the bottom. So now we got to make sure that our tracks and the supports on the side of the tracks are installed correctly and have the right hardware. And again, this hardware that I've got here, including even, believe it or not, the screw size, is all relating back to that PSF rating on this door, because we want these screws into the framing and we want to make sure they're long enough to resist those forces, especially on the pull out or maybe the pull in, depending on what's happening with the wind outside. So guys, that's really it. It's not super hard. Once you get that rating, go to the DASMA site and figure out what the PSF is, and then talk to your local garage door company about making sure you get a door that's going to meet those ratings. Now before we close out this video though, there's one thing I want to mention. This happens to be National Garage Door Safety Month. And there's one thing that I think not everybody knows about when it comes to garage doors. If you look in several places on my garage door, I've got these red screws installed. Anytime you see a red screw, you should think in your mind, why is that red? Maybe there's some danger there. And if you look at the sticker right next to this, it says, the adjacent bottom door bracket is under extreme tension. And what it's saying is, look, these red screws are holding this bottom bracket on. And this bottom bracket is actually attached to this cable right here. See this cable on the side? That cable comes up and is wound around that top roller right there, which is attached to my springs. The springs are actually bearing the most weight of the door as the opener raises the door, which means that we're under tension down here. If I were to pop those screws out one at a time, it'd be really easy for that thing to fly upward at a rapid rate of speed. And if that hit me in the face, ooh, that could be really bad. I could lose an eye or some teeth like that. So red screws, danger. The other place you're going to see red screws are right here. When the garage door installer installed my door, he sprung that spring with these kind of series of handles, and those red screws right there are holding it in place. There's also red screws where that attaches to the wall. So what this means is if you have a problem in those areas, don't just break out the wrenches. Think about calling a pro. They're going to have the tools, they're going to understand the safety precautions, they're going to make sure that nobody gets injured when that repair gets done. Guys, big thanks to DASMA. They've got like 23 different manufacturer members. So really, whenever you call your local garage door company, no matter what door you order, you're going to be able to get that rated door for your area. I'll put a link to all the things we talked about today to learn your wind speed, to the DASMA website. This is a great organization that's done a lot of research and a lot of testing over the years to make sure that these wind rated doors are actually in the field, not causing problems and are resisting that wind. I mean, they've done a great job, and this video is meant to educate you so that when you're putting that new one in, you get the right one. Guys, if you're not currently a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. We've got new content here at The Build Show every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show. Build Show fans, quick afterthought on today's video, sponsored by DASMA. You know, I first learned about DASMA when my old boss contacted me last year at the same time when I went through what at the time I thought was a hurricane. I don't know if you saw that video, but I was in a house outside of Dallas when the wind absolutely blew the roof off and my family sheltered in place in the basement. It was crazy. I was afraid for my life. But right after that event, Fred, my old boss, reached out to me, and Fred and I built houses together for years. He was actually my first boss out of college when I worked for a national production builder. I was an assistant superintendent and he was my superintendent. But Fred now works, and he's actually the head of the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. These guys are the resilient construction gurus. In fact, they have the only research center in the world that can subject a full-sized house to 130-mile-an-hour winds, rain, hail, even wildfire. They've spent decades researching how storm damage can start with something small, like a garage door blowing out, for instance. And that can cascade, of course, like we talked about today, into major problems for the homeowner. Now, using what they learned, IBHS put together the Fortified Construction Standard. It's a voluntary construction program that can be used to strengthen both new and existing homes against severe weather events. And I just wanted to give you guys the link. They'll be in the description below to learn more about that Fortified Standard. So if you're building a new house, this is something that you should absolutely consider. So check out that link, and big thanks to Fred and his team for all the amazing work they're doing at that research center. See you next time.